I'll never forget the morning I watched my neighbor Linda implode her entire life over a motorcycle. It was 7:30 a.m., and I was nursing a mug of coffee on my porch, the kind of quiet moment you savor in a sleepy suburb. Then, like something out of a bad movie, the massive tow truck growled down Elm Street. The driver hopped out, all business, and started chaining up a glossy black Harley to VY'd sun parked in my sister's driveway across the road. The bike gleamed under the morning sun, a thing of beauty, but it was being hauled away like junk. There stood Linda, arms crossed, smirking like she'd just checkmated a grandmaster. She was snapping photos with her phone, her face radiating triumph. That's when my brother-in-law, the VYD, burst out of the house, still in his rumpled suit from a late court session. He's a district court judge, the kind of guy who commands a room without trying. As he reached for his wallet, his judicial badge flashed in the light, and his voice cut through the air like a gavel. "Where's my bike?" he demanded, the kind of tone that makes people freeze. Linda's smug grin vanished faster than a popped balloon, her face draining to a ghostly white. Oh, this was going to be good. Let me rewind to set the stage. Our neighborhood was always a peaceful little haven, neat lawns, kids on bikes, the works. But 3 years ago, Linda Harper got herself elected HOA president, and it's been a nightmare ever since. She'd stalk the streets daily, clipboard in hand, measuring tape dangling like a weapon, hunting for anything she could pin as a violation. She'd ticket people for grass half an inch too long, trash cans left out 10 minutes late, or Christmas lights up a day past her deadline. It was like VYing under a suburban dictator. When my sister, Emily, moved in last month with her family, Linda zeroed in like a hawk. The problem? The VYD, Emily's brother, loved rolling up on weekends astride his pristine Harley. That bike was spotless, always parked perfectly in the driveway, well within HOA rules. But to Linda, it was a personal affront, a challenge to her iron grip. It started with snarky notes slipped under the bike's windshield wiper. Reminder: HOA covenants prohibit unsightly vehicles. Never mind that the bylaws didn't mention motorcycles. Then came the phone calls to Emily, dripping with threats about fake fines and made-up rules, all to bully them into submission. The VYD, bless him, tried to play nice at first. As a judge, he's all about process dotting I's, crossing T's. He'd calmly point out the bylaws, give Linda the benefit of the doubt. But she wasn't VYing it. Her crusade ramped up. She started circling the bike, snapping photos from every angle like some wannabe detective. She even tried rallying neighbors for a petition to ban motorcycles outright, but most folks told her to get a life. The woman was obsessed, and it was only a matter of time before she crossed the line. That line came on a crisp Friday morning. Linda, fed up with the VYD's refusal to bend, decided to go rogue. Instead of following HOA protocol written notices, a hearing, a board vote, she called up Wilson's Towing and spun a tale about an abandoned, non-operational motorcycle. She claimed full authority as HOA president to have it yanked from private property. Big mistake. What she didn't know was that the VYD had installed security cameras after her harassment started. Every note, every call, every move she made was caught in crystal clear high def. When that tow truck vanished with his Harley, the VYD didn't blink. He was already on the phone, pulling strings like a maestro cops, the county attorney, the state HOA oversight board. By noon, he'd dug into every bylaw, covenant, and state law on HOAs. What he found was a legal goldmine. Linda had no right to tow from private property. She'd skipped every required step: no notice, no vote, nothing. Worst of all, she dipped into HOA funds to pay for her little stunt. The security footage was the knockout punch. Linda pointing at the bike, directing the driver, handing over cash like she owned the place. The hammer dropped Monday morning. I was in my home office when sirens wailed down the street. Peeking out, I saw 2 squad cars screech to a halt at Linda's picture-perfect Colonial. Detectives Carter and Lopez marched to her door, warrant in hand. Linda answered in a bathrobe, her voice shrill enough to crack glass. "This is outrageous," she screeched. "I'm the HOA president. I have every right to enforce our standards. The detectives weren't fazed. They laid out the charges, filing false police reports, misusing HOA funds, interfering with private property, and harassment. But Linda? She doubled down, ranting about her authority, even as they cuffed her. I decide what's allowed here, she snapped, as if she were Queen of Elm Street. The neighbors watching from their lawns just shook their heads. Word spread like wildfire, especially with a judge involved. By Tuesday, the local paper screamed, HOA president arrested for illegally towing judge's motorcycle. Linda's mugshot, complete with her trademark scowl, went viral on social media. The real fireworks came at her preliminary hearing. Judge Thompson presided, with the VYD stepping aside, but testifying as a witness. Linda showed up with a public defender, her SAVY NGS drained on bail and fees. The prosecutor tore into her, laying out a case that left jaws on the floor. Residents flooded the court with complaints. Mrs. Lee recounted Linda threatening to seize her home over a lawn ornament. The Parkers detailed months of grief over their non-compliant mailbox. Former HOA board members spilled about Linda's reckless spending and unhinged vendettas. The EVY Denke was brutal security footage, bank records, recorded calls, and a parade of fed-up neighbors. Linda's lawyer tried to spin it as enforcing community standards, but Judge Thompson shut that down hard. Mrs. Harper, he said, voice like steel, an HOA board doesn't make you a dictator. You broke multiple laws, abused your power, and hurt your neighbors. The sentence hit like a thunderclap. 2 years probation, DULA 1,500 fines, 100 hours of community SARE VYC, and a mandatory ethics course on HOA governance. Plus, a 5-year restraining order barring her from any HOA involvement. But that was just the start of Linda's spiral. The HOA held an emergency meeting and booted her from the board unanimously. Her job at a local realty firm? Gone, thanks to the bad press. A month later, MOVYing truck rolled up, and Linda slunk out of Elm Street, tail between her legs. The VYD's Harley was back, shining in Emily's driveway every weekend. The new HOA board, led by folks who actually read the law, rewrote the bylaws to keep power in check. And in a twist that still makes me grin, the VYD volunteered as the HOA's legal ad VY, making sure no one pulls a Linda ever again. Watching Linda's face crumple in court as the gavel fell, the weight of her fines and probation sinking in, I couldn't help but feel a rush of satisfaction. Justice had been served, with a cherry of poetic revenge on top. The neighborhood's peaceful again, but man, what a ride. So what do you think? Was Linda just a control freak who got what she deserved? Or did the system go too hard on her for a simple mistake? Should HOAs even have this kind of power over people's lives? And how far would Saw go to protect your property from someone like her? Drop your thoughts below, smash that like button if you love the drama, and subscribe for more wild stories like this one.